I just wanted to say that when you talk about progressive women, I have never heard a progressive modern woman say, I want a provider.
The women are
Most of
saying
the,
they want providers every day. If you ask a woman what they want in a man, they're going to
again,
say they want a provider.
I was very specific with my language. I have never heard a progressive modern woman.
Could you
I
just
have never
explain to
heard
us? Could you just explain to the audience? We have 368 people in here. What a progressive modern woman is.
a progressive modern woman is a woman who doesn't necessarily subscribe to traditional gender roles. Generally, those women, for Black women at least, are womanists, which is a Black feminist, is a womanist. They make their own money. And they very much work on decolonization and seeing the world through a much more humanist lens instead of seeing the world from the way that the world has conditioned us to see things, specifically in our society. So when I speak about progressive modern women, these are the women that I'm talking about. So progressive modern women that make their own money, who are womanists, who are decolonizing, who are working on their own mental stability, working on undoing generational trauma. I have never heard those type of women say, I want a provider. I have heard those women say, I want a man who makes me feel safe. I have heard those women say, I want a man who can at least meet me halfway. I have heard those women say, he doesn't have to be rich, but he needs to have at least some type of potential and is working towards something. He doesn't have to have money, but he should be ambitious, right? And like so when you say progressive women or modern women, and then you say, oh, do in your opinion, do you think the progressive women who are asking for a provider are asking for some financial stability from a man? It doesn't make any sense to ask that question because generally speaking, progressive women don't really think along that vein. But if you say women in general, that's something different, right? Because a lot of women do think that way. Like when they speak about a provider, they're talking about financial provision, right? But progressive modern women don't necessarily think in that vein. So this is why I'm saying like some of the language you use should be a little bit more specific. So, and I think what ends up happening when you use languages like that is that you paint the progressive modern woman as a woman who wants her cake and eats it too, when generally speaking, that's not the case. Progressive modern women are approaching more of this paradigm where they're actually happier single, where they don't want to be with men who
Hi.
provide if those men are not going to add to their lives in another regard. You get this is the paradigm that these women are approaching. So
Well. I'm gonna just take your word for that. Well, a lot of the women on these social media platforms, a lot of the hundreds of women that I've talked to on this app, the women that I know and that I've spoken to in real life, a lot of them must not be progressive modern women. Then they just must be modern women, not progressive.
well, yeah, because when you say progressive, progressive means
I ain't used the word progressive. I said
non-traditional.
modern woman. I never used the word. That's why I don't know what a
You said
progressive modern woman
progressive.
is.
I'm
That's
almost positive you said progressive because it
why would I?
immediately I
Mel,
immediately
Why would I say progressive modern woman and then ask you to explain what a progressive modern woman is? That don't make
when
any
you
sense.
ask Callie the question, and the reason why I know you said progressive, when you ask Callie the question, immediately the ding went in my head, and that's why I raised my hand. And since I had been raising my hand, I kept on repeating to myself the point that I wanted to make. Progressive modern, which
Mel,
is
I've
why I
never
know that
used
you said
progressive
that.
modern
You can
woman
roll
a
a
day in my
tape. You
life.
be recording these. Roll a
Yeah,
tape.
I do. I've never used
Roll a
progressive
tape.
modern woman a day in my life. I've been saying
Roll a
modern
tape.
woman the whole night. Why would I randomly say progressive? But Ty, go
Roll the
ahead,
tape.
Ty. Go
And
ahead,
again,
brother.
even modern women to a certain degree, modern women, generally speaking, are more progressive
I disagree.
than
I respectfully
modern
disagree.
women are more progressive, generally speaking,
I
right?
disagree.
You do have you in modern women, you do have women who are traditional and who are more progressive, but generally speaking, and then you have like middle women, right? You have some women who have some things in their lives that they're more progressive, and some parts of their lives they're more traditional. And most modern women kind of fit in that vein. But then most modern women are slowly but surely approaching like the more progressive end of the spectrum.
All right. Go ahead. Go ahead, Ty. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
It's like, yo, Melanie, you don't like to hear me speak. You don't like hearing me speak. Is that what it is? That's why you want. That's why you just be keep on going on
So
with.
let me raise my hand first. Don't try to make me. Don't try to make me the devil. It's because I raised my hand first, and I didn't want to forget my point.
Hey,
That was it.
all right,
Stop
all
it.
good. So
Stop
first
it.
thing,
Don't be
so
making me the bad guy.
so brother, as I said, it's two things. First things first, we mentioned as soon as we got in it, men, that's bare minimum. Be like taking care of your family, especially if you have a child and then you have a wife and kids. That is the bare minimum. It's to take care of the damn to take care of the bills and shit. And obviously, kids, family can't eat air. You know what I mean?
Right.
You obviously need some income to obviously to live. Secondly, right? Second, he didn't say nothing about no progressive. I don't know. like we don't use that term.
When have you ever heard me say, listen, all since I've been doing what I've been doing for a long time. When
Wait,
have
wait,
you
wait, wait.
ever
I
heard me
let
say
you finish.
I'm
I
progressive
let
not
you
gonna
modern
argue
finish.
it.
women?
I
Why
remember
you
that.
talking
I
over
might
us?
be wrong.
When
You're
have you
right.
ever
I
heard
might
me
be
say
wrong, but
progressive?
roll the tape.
Ty,
Yeah.
I might be wrong, but
why would I use a phrase and then ask, could you explain to us what that is? Because I don't know what that is. Make it make
might
sense.
be wrong. I'm almost positive, but roll the tape.
I say
Roll
Yeah.
modern
the
women.
tape.
But go
All
ahead, Ty.
good. All good. So yeah. So progresso for these progresso ladies I that's the thing, right? There, as I said, this is my personal opinion, guys. Please don't, you know, don't shoot me for it. But that's just my personal opinion. What you just said about these progressive we're not female. That's rude. Excuse me. Women, these progressive women. When the things that you were saying, it just like to me, it seemed like a souped up superwoman. You know what I mean? Like a woman that wants to tackle all this stuff. That that prides herself in tackling all these things, right? Which is cool. As I said, do whatever you want to do. But at the same time, too, it's like you're going against, right? You're literally going against family because you're putting yourself first. You're putting yourself first in front of anything, and we have a huge rise of these individuals that thinking completely individualistic. That think, hey, it's about me. Yes, that's like we said, live your life. But if you are actually you're trying to deal with people and deal with family, you have to be able to work on those skills. You have to be able to speak to one another. You have to be able to speak to a man, especially if you're trying to deal with a man in a heterosexual relationship. If you're thinking straight, if you're thinking straight selfish, how do you feel? These progressive women, if you're thinking straight selfish, how do you feel like it's going to be very successful for you? How successful are these progressive women? If you can answer that question.
Go ahead, Mel.
Mel?
First of all, progressive.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things that I mentioned in terms of progressive women is defined under womanist, which is what a black feminist is. And if you guys don't understand what that is, look it up. And the black feminist has 3 points that she tackles: classism, racism, and sexism. So in doing so, she also realized that she must live within the constructs of the society that she lives in, right? So even though many of us are not proponents of capitalism, we still have to live in a capitalistic society. So we function to the best of our ability in that society. But we still are going to critique it. We still are going to critique the sexism. We're still going to critique the racism and the classism. You get what I'm saying? So repeat your question with tie bounce shit.
He said he about to come back.
Okay. So this is what I wanted to say. I think he's conflating women who are progressive, and let's call them womanists, right? We're talking about black womanists who is usually under attack by men for whatever reason. Misogynoir is probably the reason, but right? How can they do this and then or they can't do that and also be a family? But womanists by definition are communal. womenist, the whole point of the womanist and the Black feminist movement is not to separate men from women or specifically gender equality the way it is with white feminists. It's about male and female. Oh my God, what's the word? Come on, Callie, help me out. Reconnection, I guess, is a synonym. I'm forgetting the word, but it's specific in the language, and I don't want to say the wrong word.
Communal, Melanie?
But it's basically about men and women, Black men and women reconnecting to have one goal in mind to both fight classism and racism and sexism.
Is it coexist or communal?
No, I think it's I gotta look up the language. Oh my God, isn't it? But honestly, a synonym is reconnection, right?
Yeah.
There's a right? Anyway, or convergence, I guess. They want Black women and Black men to come together for both of them to fight for classes against classism, sexism, and racism. So the Black progressive woman, generally speaking, is a womanist, right? The thing is that, and they're usually communal because all of those things are selfless. To fight against racism, to fight against classism, and to fight against sexism, they're literally, philanthropic efforts for other people. So to call us selfish, that doesn't make any sense. It's like contradictory to what a Black feminist is. When you look at Black feminist movements, they do most of the organizing in the community, in the Black community in general, even though they get highly critiqued for not being traditional women, right? Like, for instance, the founders of Black Lives Matter, very much critiqued by the Black community for being untraditional. And other reasons, which I'm not even going to go into what the speculatory financial issue some of the founders of Black Lives Matter is. But a lot of the reasons why the women were critiqued who founded the Black Lives Matter movement were because they were just unconventional. They would use language like wanting to disrupt the heteronormative nuclear family structure, when really what they meant by that is they wanted to approach a more communal familial structure so that other people who do not fit heteronormative structures of family can also be included in the community, like lesbian.
But that's not what they're saying, Melanie. That's not what they're saying.
But that is literally what the language means. That's literally what the language means. When they say they want to disrupt the heteronormative, cisgendered, nuclear family structure, they're talking about introducing a more communal tribal structure so that people can look at other types of unconventional family types as still part of the Black community, because we as a community have historically alienated unconventional family types. And
but Melanie, you just explained it to us. You just explained it to us. You just explained it to us, right? But that's what I'm saying. That's what when they say that, that's what it is. But you said this is what they mean.
But when we say disrupt the nuclear family, what y'all take it as, let me finish, Ty. When we say disrupt the nuclear family, what you take it as is disrupt the Black family, which is not what that language means. That language means make the family structure more inclusive of other unconventional family types so that we can all live together in community. That is what that language means. But because Black people feel and are brainwashed and conditioned to think that the nuclear family is the baseline or like the foundation of community, then they are triggered by this type of language, thinking that these type of progressive women are trying to break up the Black family, when really that it was never the goal, and that has never been the goal of Black feminists. It's always been about inclusion, and it's always been about community. Other thing, it is not mutually exclusive to be a womanist and not be a family woman. Most womanists are family women. They just choose partners who are also just as progressive as they are. Most of them have families. A lot of them are married, traditionally married.
Hey,
some of them are lesbian. Some of them, you get what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of the things you're saying about these women are just categorically false in general, and a lot of what you think they are is an assumption, because in my opinion, Ty, I don't think you know enough Black feminists, in my opinion. Because you would not have those opinions of them if you actually knew how they were and how they function. They love Black men. They fight for Black men. The whole Black Lives Matter movement, started by women, is for Black men.
Okay, one second.
Right.
So, one second.
Okay, and I think that's I'm like talking in circles now because my brain was doing a bunch of things. So I'm gonna stop right here.
You
but
can respond.
it's not
You can
mutually
respond.
exclusive.
You can respond to what Melanie said, but I
Oh,
would not lie to y'all.
that's what I
We
wanted
are
to say.
not going to be talking about the nuclear family tonight. We are
We're
not
not going to
talking
be talking
about
about the nuclear
feminism.
family, but
We are not talking about womanists. We are not talking about. We are staying on topic tonight. But Ty, I will let you respond. Melanie, you are not going to respond, and we are going to get back on topic.
just the last thing is that you keep
Let's
on
do it.
talking about progressive women perpetuating individualism when really what perpetuates individualism is the nuclear family.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Ty, go ahead and respond. We're not talking about this tonight. We're not talking about the nuclear family and all this womanism, feminism. I don't do that. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't do that here, okay? If y'all want to do that, listen, y'all follow, like I said at the top of my live, y'all follow Melanie if y'all want. I don't do that type of stuff here. But Ty, go ahead and respond, and we're going to get back on topic, okay? Go ahead and respond to what she said, Ty. Unmute, Ty.
Good brother. As I said, she said that's how I take it. You know what I mean? Like when they mention whatever the whole entire malarkey she said. No, I don't take it as that. I would say other people do possibly take it as that. And if we're trying, just like I said before, if we're trying to relay a message and we're trying to allow people to understand, then we should break it down. So if they're saying that they're trying to dismantle or whatever they're trying to do with the nuclear family, and then you changed it up and you told me this is what they actually mean, then if that's the case, tell us what they actually mean. Break it down like you did. A lot of them aren't breaking it down like you have. So if you're not breaking it down like you have, Melanie, then a lot of people are going to take it negatively, because they don't have the emotional capacity, the mental capacity to understand the conversation. So if you're saying certain things to certain people, it just depends on that person you're speaking to. Everybody has a different mindset, a different perception of things. So if you're telling us one thing and you're telling us this, and we're like, whoa, wait, it sounds kind of crazy. Like, what are you saying? But you're like, Melanie was like, oh, but they actually mean this. That's cool. But they don't say it like that. So obviously you're going to have a lot of people that are confused, right? That's first thing, right? And going back to this the progressive woman talk, right? Like I said, and we even all agreed on it. The progressive women obviously is the ultimate woman, is the I guess the Wonder Woman, is the She-Hulk or whatever. Is these women, right? That feel it's almost like, if you think about it, it's like if you think about it, almost like masculine type of deal. Like, I'm not saying they masculine. I'm just saying in counter, like to counter, like the opposite. It's like a superiority type of deal. It's like a macho type of thing. I'm beating my chest. I could do this. I could do that. I could do this. When we are supposed to be together and you're supposed to complement each other. By you saying that, hey, I don't need you to do this, I don't want you to do this, and pretty much the woman pretty much doing most of the things by herself, like we mentioned before, resting in your femininity. She won't even be able to rest in her femininity, because all she would do is this. She want to be macho, but her husband's like, hey, I want to help you. I want to do this and this and that. Well, I'm not used to that. Isn't that what I do? I would rather do it myself. You're still you're conditioning yourself to be super hardened.
Well, I don't mean Melanie. I know you want to
say Go ahead, Kelly. Go ahead.
I don't mean that.
Take this. I was gonna say, Callie, take this, because I've been talking a lot, but I know you hear what I'm hearing, and I know you're about to say what I was gonna say.
And you can, and if I don't say everything you want me to say, you can add on. But the thing is, so I know that there's this talk about, when women do certain things that men are supposed to do is considered masculine.
Yeah, it was a mistake. Sorry about that. It was a mistake in the masculine. I wasn't meaning that you guys are masculine. I meant basically when women say that men are toxic masculine and try to basically move with their ego first. That's why that's what I meant. Women, like these progressive women, are moving with ego first than anything else.
I kind of honestly feel like what you said overall in that sense, oftentimes we respond that way because we've been pushed into that. We've been pushed into it by the experiences that we've had. And I know some people are going to be like, oh, well, you got to pick better men. And it's not like we aren't trying, but the pool of men right now is not very cash money, if you want me to be honest. Like at the end of the day, it is. And even if we do manipulation, all of that exists. And I do believe, you see red flags, you leave, you're not happy, you leave. I do believe in doing that, but that does not stop us from getting in situation and relationships with bullshit ass people. But oftentimes women are, not to say that Mr. Ty was just talking about this, but I know that this does come up even with the whole, well, women can't do this because this is masculine and this is this and this is that. But it's kind of like oftentimes, like I said, a lot of women are pushed into doing that. Like, you ain't Cash Money either. You don't know me, Christopher. Please. Anyways, but the thing is, oftentimes I feel, and I've experienced myself and I've seen other women experience this too, we tend to take on things by ourselves and don't depend on a man because we've been in situations where we have and the shit went down the drain. So it's kind of like, or we have been taught that growing up, that you take care of yourself and you just do you. And so it's kind of like, I'm not gonna lie, not to project here, but I know a lot of women have also been in this situation as well. But like I said, I know I'm young and I haven't really been in something as serious as a marriage, but I have been put in situations where it has been bullshit. And it's kind of like, I've gotten to a point to where it's like, though I'm young, I would probably just rather be single, because it's like, okay, damn, when is some shit gonna change? So it's like, I'm like, all I can do is work on myself, do me and just be me. But it's like, I feel like I have been in that situation, even on a mini scale, where technically I've been the breadwinner and I've been the one providing. And it's kind of like, damn, like I was left out to dry. So it's like, I'm putting all of that to myself, but that's not to project, but I know other women have experienced that as well.
Let me say something to what you say, Callie, and then Ty, you can say something.
And that's Callie, that's the thing.
Yeah, and man, listen, Callie, this is my thing, because I hear like all these black women be talking about like we've been put in this position. Like, Callie, let's be 100% real, okay? I want you and Mel and all the black women in here to be real. If you are not in a committed, exclusive relationship with a man, what black man's responsibility is it to, like, be this provider? What black man's responsibility is it to be this provider and this protector for you? If you ask me, Callie, that is the job of, and when I say you, I'm not talking about you specifically. I'm just talking about women in general. That is the job of your father and or brother or brothers. Like, I have 2 sisters, right? I don't have any like biological blood brothers. Like, my older sister is in a relationship right now. My younger sister is single. It is my father's responsibility and my responsibility, if anything, to be this provider and especially this protector for my little sister. It's not any other black man's responsibility.
But the thing is, I don't mean to cut you off, Noble, but I'm not saying that I'm necessarily asking whatever guy I'm dating at that time to provide, but we not finna bullshit, because these were long-term committed relationships that I was in. Though it's not like I was living with them. There is still some kind of obligation, and I'm not necessarily talking about financial, because I'm not the kind of person that's like, give me your money, I want your money. That ain't me. But the thing is, there still is an obligation there, because we mutually agreed on that. And that's just that.
But talking about, go ahead. But Callie, I'm talking about as a black woman when she is single. When a black woman is single, it is not Noble's responsibility. It is not Ty's responsibility to be a provider or protector for her. Like you said, if you're in a committed, exclusive relationship with a man, hopefully you are with a man that can, do those things for you and make you, quote unquote, feel secure.
Yeah.
But if you're not in a relationship as a black woman or as a black man, it is your duty and your obligation to get up every day and do what you need to do and fulfill your life obligations and do what you need to do to get where you want to get in life.
But that was the aspect that I was
talking about.
And
all these black women are talking about, we've been pushed in this. What position?
But the thing is, when I say that we've been put in that situation,
I understand where they're coming from when they say that.
I understand where they coming from. If black women have been pushed into a position, black men have been pushed into a position as well. So what are we talking about? I have a job. I have a career. I don't wake up and be like, man, there's no black woman around to give me no emotional support. No, I'm a single. Like, what am I?
But see, that's the thing. But see, you're talking about in regards to being single. I wasn't talking about that. I'm literally talking about being in committed relationships. And the thing is, nobody's saying that anybody force Black women to be in relationships. When I say we've been put in situations, we have been in relationships where both people are said, this is what we doing, and bullshit happened. So it's kind of like, and I'm talking about bullshit on behalf of the man's part. And so that's where I was coming from. Okay. So I don't think
and even beyond relationships, Kelly, Kale is how do I say it?
Oh, Kaylin.
Yeah, so I agree. Yeah, Kaylee, I agree with you with the things that you were saying, and even on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, even if you're not in a relationship, we still should exercise being good people to women, be like respecting women and seeing them as equal.
And respecting men. And
regardless, even if they are in relationships or not. Yeah, and respect. Yeah, 1,000% respecting each other. Period. Right. Respecting each other. And as I said, especially when she mentioned the story about not being, trusting of men, it's so understood because there are certain men, even before she got into a relationship, there are certain men maybe that she ran into across the everyday life that were rude to her or disrespectful to her and stuff like that. These constant situations of toxic, of issues, of problems is going to turn somebody sour, and a lot of women have turned sour because of it. And so I understand, and I agree with all of them. Men, as I said, we definitely should do better, but at the same time too, I feel like we both need to come to an understanding and get to that level with one another and have that type of compassion and empathy.
Ty, let me say something. 1 second, Mel. Look, Ty, I agree with everything you just said, Ty, but I always say this. Can like us as Black people, both men and women, can we stop acting like everyone has not been hurt by someone of the opposite sex before? Like there are women that have been hurt by men, and there are men that have been hurt by women. So this is why I take a lot of pride in my platform, because I don't bash men, I don't bash women. We just have conversations here. I'm tired of like Black men and some Black men and a lot of Black women trying to make it seem like Black men are just out here just hurting Black women, and there's not Black women out here hurting Black men. Okay? We've all been hurt by someone before. Let's stop putting everybody in one box, okay?
But I think it's not just about that.
Not because one Black man hurt our means that we should put all Black men in one box. Not
but
because one Black woman hurt our feelings means that we should put all Black women in one box, okay? We are not a monolith. Like, Ty is his own person. I'm my own person. Kaylin, you're your own person, and Melanie is her own person, okay? So let's stop trying to put everybody in a box.
But the thing is, see, I'm not trying to put everybody in a box because I don't think the next man is going to hurt me. I don't think that way. I just have become more defensive about myself personally. But the thing is, it's not just about who's been hurt. It's what are you doing about that hurt? In my experience, what I've noticed and what I've not even what I've seen here, there are a lot of Black men that, okay, yeah, they get hurt, but they don't get help. And I would hope that everybody gets help, Black man, Black woman, whatever. But it is being shown that like Black women are the ones going to get help, going to get therapy, trying to work through this shit. And it's like Black men, it's like, okay, they'll get hurt. And then either whether they hurt somebody else or hold that hurt in, it's like it ends up not benefiting. So yeah, of course we've all have been hurt, but what is being done about that hurt? So that's what I feel like that's what's a little more important, because that's why I'm bringing it up, because it's not, I know you said, sorry to project, but it's like me personally, it hasn't just been one experience. And even if it was one experience, the shit was deep enough to change the way I choose to love and all of that. And that takes a toll on a person. So it's like, at this point, what is the individual going to do for whoever is in that situation where they go through some bullshit? What are you going to do? And I feel like, even, for example, what happened recently with Bree. Bree told Black men to go to therapy. They got her fired and got her account banned for a little less than 24 hours. Whether you liked her delivery or not, whether you like the way she was calling people bitches, dusty hoes, it is what it is. She was trying to tell y'all, okay, go to therapy. And I feel like there are a lot of Black men that do lack emotional intelligence. And it's not to pick at anybody. It's not to pick at anybody at all. Okay, he is what we need. There have been many different Black men or men in general that portray a message to women in a very volatile way. and they get attention, and women are the ones trying to erase them from doing the bullshit that they doing. But nothing is said about them. So don't say much about Bree, because she didn't come at y'all in a violent way. She came in a way of, hey, y'all need to get help. So whether you liked her approach or not, it is what it is. But me personally, that ain't the topic. That I'm not going to hone in too much on that. But what I think is needed is therapy. I feel like that was what her point was. And I feel like there is a lot of healing that needs to go on both sides. But I'm saying that men need to catch up, because they seem to be behind us. So it's like, yeah, like you said, we could talk about you know, we know everybody has been hurt, but the main group of people that have been resolving that hurt to move on and be better is women.
And